Hi, good evening, and welcome to the ZP vlog and podcast. Today is the 18th of July 2021, and every week at 8 p.m. London time, we like to do this live webinar, and it's a sort of look back at the news from Zimmer Peacock for this week. So we kind of like this is just a sort of friendly chat at the end of the week, just to kind of go through a bit of news from ZP. And it's less technical and just more informal, some of the stuff that we've been up to this week. So I think one of the things I'd like to just sort of slightly highlight is at ZP we've been growing consistently now for several years, and very much so in the last kind of year. And I mean, the kind of size of the business has got to a point where, in fact, if we say that we've got sort of 3D printing, I mean, lots of engineering firms and scientific firms have 3D printing, but at this point it's not just one or two 3D printers. It's actually a room now dedicated over to the 3D printers, and so it's a kind of in fact, it's a small little matter, but when I actually look at this picture, I realise this is my old office. So I haven't been to Norway in quite a while, and I'm just looking at these images and looking at the new 3D printing room, and I realise it's my old office. So they've turned my old office into a 3D printing room, which is great. And I kind of mention it because it kind of gives you a sense that it's not that we have one or two 3D printers. We actually have quite a substantial setup around the 3D printing at Zimmer and Peacock. So just to give you a kind of just to give you a view of what's going on inside the building. And I mean, it's it's a small matter, but we haven't got just one type of 3D printer. We've got at least two types in here. We've got this kind of FDM, which is this fused deposition modeling printers, and we've also got the stereolithography printers as well. So the FDMs are sort of quick and easy, and the stereolithography really gives you fine features. So I'm just going to say hi to Ali, who's on this evening. Cool. Hi, Ali. So hi, Ali. I was just saying that we've been growing, as over the last years and stuff, and the number of 3D printers now, we've actually put a room over to it. So here we're kind of doing prototyping of pieces. We're even 3D printing microfluidics, so it's it's quite a busy little area. So that's just a little bit of news from ZP this week. As I say, we keep it light in this particular talk. Ali was here on Thursday when we did the ZP Developer Zone meeting, and that in that meeting we answered questions about screen printed electrodes and how to get the yield up on screen printed electrodes, and we also talked about CGM. And I did sort of make the offer that if anyone was interested in trying to do 3D printed microneedles for CGM, I'd be quite happy to kind of get involved in that. So we had our Developer Zone webinar on Thursday. We actually had really good attendance, and we were very happy with that. I just want to kind of just touch on a few pieces of other news from this week. The new lab that we've been setting up in Coventry in the UK has been really busy. The engineers have settled in. The guys are in the lab really working it out, and are really working in it, and we're starting to put some good projects through that as well. So the UK team now is getting super busy, especially with this new hub, and I'm happy because we have new projects coming into that. So really happy with the Coventry setup that we've got going on there as well. Let me just go to a little bit more news for this week. This might be interesting. So at ZP, we do contract development, contract manufacturing. We talk about it a lot, but you might find this kind of interesting as well, that we are now able to actually start doing biosensors in our sort of own right. And the reason this has come about is because we acquired the IP from a company called Sarissa, and so we've got 5 patents, which is cool. We've also, secured the know-how from the company. If you're interested in what these sensors that we've contained are about, or obtained rather, then there's also a paper about it. So essentially, these IP and these sensors that we've acquired, they allow us to measure purines, and the purines that I'm particularly talking about are adenosine, inosine, hypoxanthine, and these apparently are metabolites of ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate. So unfortunately, if you have a stroke or you have an epileptic fit or you have some sort of tissue damage, what is happening is the ATP is being metabolized. You're getting a spike in these purines, and therefore the IP that we've acquired allows us to detect these purines. So what this means is that rather than just being a contract developer, it also allows ZP to develop these sensors now and take these to the market. So it changes the dynamic of Zimmer and Peacock. So that might be interesting to people. It also allows us to use the IP in our client projects as well. So not only are we doing development for people, but we're able to develop them technology that's also IP protected or intellectually property. And IP is important in commercial biosensing because sometimes you need the freedom to operate. You don't want to be infringing other people's patents because you could get yourself into legal concerns. And so IP is useful. It's nice that we've got these 5 patents, so we can use them for ourselves and use them for our clients as well. I did like Ali's comments this week because we did put a little note out. We have good engineering labs, and the engineers are proud. They keep them clean, and that's it would seem obvious, but I've been in a number of businesses in my life. Hi, Aftab. I've been in a number of businesses in my life, and it is unfortunate when people can't keep the place clean, because obviously you want to be ISO 13485, you want to give quality. If you can't take care of the cleanliness of your labs and the cleanliness of your workshop, then it's hard to sort of say that that you can really be high quality. But Ali saw this on LinkedIn, and he was kind enough to mention the 5 S's that the Japanese adhere to. And it'd been a while since I heard about that, and I thought, oh yeah, he's right. It's a recognized quality metric. So just a small thing, but at ZP, we do have we have that very nice 3D printing room that you saw. I mean, the workshop is all clean and tidy, and this is something that we really strive for, because if we can take care of the basics, then when I sit here and tell us that we've got the best screen printed electrodes in the world, if we can't keep our labs clean and we can't keep our workshop clean, then I certainly can't make that statement. But we do make a good job of making sure that we do keep everything cool. This is something that I've been a bit quiet on for a little while. I was talking about it a lot, but I will talk about it now. We're at ZP, we're really, really lucky to be on a really great program with JIC, which is the John Innes Centre, and a company called PBL, which is Plant Biotechnologies Limited. We're on a great project called, we call it Nitrate. But essentially what we're doing is, we're addressing this issue in the world that, and I know Ali knows this and Aftab knows this, but, I'll say it again. We're lucky to be on this project. We're lucky that this is a $1 billion type of product, because essentially what's happening is, these farmers are putting that nitrate on the soil. It's not monitored. It's meant to get into the roots of those plants. But of course, if you add, too much nitrate to the soil, well, what's going to happen is it's not going to make its way into the roots and into the biomass, which is what you want. It's going to get run off into the rivers, or it's going to percolate down into the groundwater. And, you're essentially adding more nitrate than you need. So first of all, that's a waste of, unfortunately, money. But of course, it's also a source of pollution. So you'll get the local pollution in the rivers. you get an over proliferation of microorganisms. They'll consume all the oxygen, and everything's going to die. But then you also have a global pollution issue because, in fact, the production of nitrate is a big source of greenhouse gases in the world. So there is a problem. There's too much fertilizer put on the fields, and because we're part of this $1 million grant project in the UK, we're doing really well in developing a nitrate rod with telemetry. So at ZP, I know week after week we do talk about screen printed electrodes and biosensors, and actually AFTAB knows this quite well. We're actually really thinking about the entire system. If I was to describe the future of our business, and I hope many of you will be part of it, it's biosensors to API. And if you don't know what API is, we are going to go on about it quite a bit over the next few weeks. But it's not enough to make the biosensor. Yeah, AFTAB is saying, is the data streamed in real time? AFTAB, it's streamed in real time. You can imagine what that means. You know, that the farmer can actually see the effect of the nitrate. So let me go on a little bit further, in fact, 'cause I'm here to talk about the news from this week. So let me just show this quickly, because a question just came sort of online. So what we're doing is we are putting these nitrate sensors into the soil, and we're leaving them there. And we put some videos up this week about this. You know, so we define the problem, and then we and then we actually describe the solution. And the solution is we've developed a rod system which puts nitrate sensors into the soil. You can imagine how hard it is to make sensors that are robust enough to go into the soil. So we've gone and put them into fields in the UK at the moment. So they're sitting in the field, they're delivering sensors, and because AFTAB and Ali, who follow us a lot, are electrochemists, these are ion selective electrodes, ISEs. Now in this particular video here, what's happening is the farmer is adding the nitrate into the field, but what you will have, what you'll realize is that the nitrate stays at about 20 ppm, even though he's added nitrate into the field. So it's going along at 20 ppm. And what you'll notice, and Ali knows this, he's seen this many times from me, the nitrate will continue to go down even though he's added fertilizer to the field. And the reason being is, this is the beautiful thing about the Internet of Things, you know, having all these sensors. It's because the ground is drying out. The soil humidity is actually going down. So he's added nitrate to the field. His nitrate, in fact, just stays plateaus for a while and goes down. And the reason it goes down is because the ground is drying out. Now, what's going to happen in a minute is you're going to suddenly see the nitrate spike up. And you'll say, well, why did it suddenly spike up? Because we're lucky. We've also got the rainfall data as well. So it's suddenly, he's added nitrate to dry soil. The soil's got drier. And in fact, it only saw the benefit of the nitrate when this soil actually then, essentially it rained, which then solubilized the nitrate, made it become essentially available nitrate. And then the nitrate itself actually jumped straight up. And you would have essentially missed, so he thinks that he's added nitrate. He didn't get the benefit of his nitrate until, in fact, it rained, and then the nitrate actually did jump up. But what's interesting is, after it rained, he actually adds another dose of nitrate. So he thinks that he's spatially separated his nitrate addition out by, a month and a bit, but he hasn't, because by the time he's added the other nitrate addition, which has just happened now, the nitrate was already on its way up. So he's had a dose of nitrate, which he didn't get the benefit until it rained. He's added very soon after the rainfall starts another dose of nitrate when the nitrate already was going up. So this is a crazy kind of waste of of nitrate. And now, at which point now it's raining all of the time. So because we can see the rainfall data, so we know it's raining. And then very soon he actually adds another dose of nitrate, but then you'll see that the nitrate actually falls again. And the reason it falls is because it stops raining and the soil starts drying out, and he doesn't get the benefit of the third dose of nitrate until it rains, which about halfway through this month. So it's a really interesting, let's say, story that we have. So if you're interested in that, I'd go back and watch that video. But if I was to summarize it, it's this. We've been reading in the literature that 66% of nitrates are probably wasted. In this particular study, we've seen them add 3 doses of nitrate, 2 of which were unnecessary. So it's a micro study, but it actually was backing up the sort of macro understanding of that. So that was something that I've talked about before. Ali's seen it a few times. Aftab was watching tonight. Sounds like you haven't heard about it, but yeah, it's pretty significant. So if you're interested in this, we have a whole website like dedicated around this. Just out of interest, we actually do have a beta testing program going on as well. Now, if people have to submit and they have to be reviewed, but if they're successful, then they end up, at the moment, getting these nitrate sensors for free. So I'm going to back up slightly now and sort of finish off a little bit. Because Aftab is interested in data science, I'm just going to sort of show him the way we're presenting data as well. So, this, when you present data like this, it looks like a right old, it's kind of hard to, it's essentially quite hard to see. But we are heat mapping the data, and then it becomes, once we can explain this to the farmers and agronomists, it's much more intuitive for them. So let me just have a quick read of the comments. Is ZP planning for an NPK sensor? Yeah, we are planning for an NPK sensor, is the question that's come through from Ali. Not from Ali, from Aftab rather. Yeah, Ali's asking the question, if you've got this nitrate sensor, then you should really be able to link the nitrate sensing to the yield. And that's really what we want to do. I think it's enough to actually, you could almost ask the farmer to take a picture of the crop. And I would say, we can almost, AI is a bit of a catch-all, but we could generally try and figure out what the yield was coming from that crop and actually tie it back to the nitrate in the soil. So at Zimmer Peacock, we do have nitrate sensors, phosphate sensors, and potassium sensors. Now we've developed the many of these sensors for medical use, but you can see what we're doing now. We're saying, okay, it's very good to measure potassium in blood, but where else would it be useful to measure potassium? Oh, soil. The NPK, the nitrate, phosphate, and potassium. So, yeah, it's very exciting times at ZP. One of our missions, I would say, is, I started my career making glucose sensors, and making a glucose sensor, they're low cost, you can make them high yield, but there's almost no need for another glucose sensor in the market. But I'm speaking to people like Ali about, using that kind of technology to make food sensors. And so what we're trying to do essentially is take that very good low cost manufacturable technology and put it into new applications. So anyway, let me do a summary for, I think, for this week. So I went off on a bit of a nitrate tangent there, but we really haven't talked about it in a while. But it's just to say, at the end of this project will have received £1 million worth of UK funding. It's definitely going to go to the market. One of the things that we're trying to solve at Zimmer Peacock is this idea that there's a lot of academic research going on in this world, but it's not hitting the market. And so what we've done is, by partnering up with the JIC, the John Innes Centre, that's a sort of academic institution in the UK, but by partnering them, we're able to now get their intellect onto the market. So in summary, just wanted to show you the 3D printing room. We've obviously got a lot of tech in there. We did have our developer zone meeting on Thursday. If you're not a member of the ZP developer zone, please join. It's good fun, and we get a lot of feedback. The new lab in Coventry is going really well. I think a few of you are now quite aware that Hasim, who's a good member of the ZP developer zone, he's on site with us at the moment. So he's going to be with us to the end of the month. You can see that we're changing. Now we're actually able to, we've got sensors with our own IP behind them now, and we're able to go to market with biosensors for looking at stroke patients. So take a look at that paper, guys. It might be interesting to you. So that's changing us quite a bit. Quality, because we're trying to be tidy, as I mentioned, and then just wanted to show you some cool stuff about the nitrate data, which some of you who actually follow us quite a lot will actually be working on at some point. So let me say thank you very much. Aftab and Ali, I always appreciate you guys just coming in. It's actually super useful because I don't want to say, but a few people who are members of the ZP Developer Zone are now members of ZP in terms of working with us, even though they're working with us remotely. Yeah, so we definitely say that, engage with us in the ZP Developer Zone, especially if you want to maybe join us and work with us one day, because it's a good way in to get to know us, good way to build relationships with us. And yeah, I appreciate you guys being super cool and meeting with us every week. All right, so there's a webinar actually tomorrow evening at 5 p.m. London time. So tomorrow evening, 5 p.m. London time, streaming live on YouTube. I've just remembered, it's called Trends and Developments in Biosensors. So we gave a talk last Thursday evening at 6 p.m. London time to a network called Chemical Angels. So Chemical Angels is run by a good guy called Mark Vreek. Mark Vreek was one of the founders of a company called TheraSense that Abbott eventually bought as a glucose sensor, but he runs something in California called Chemical Angels. He was cool enough to invite us to do a webinar for him. We did it last Thursday and it was really well received, and it wasn't it was a look forward, about where biosensing is going. So guys, if you've got time, 5 p.m. tomorrow evening London time, there's a live streaming webinar on trends and direction in biosensing. All right, guys, I'll let you go now. But thanks again, and Aftab and Ali, if you know anyone who wants to know about the direction of future of biosensing, let them know about the webinar tomorrow evening. All right, thanks very much, and have a good evening. And any questions or any shouts, put them in the developers forum, and I'll speak to you all soon. All right, night, take care, guys. Bye bye.